Job chapter 29. Again, Job took up his discourse, saying, "Oh, that I could be as in the mouths gone by, as in the days when God watched over me, when his lamp shone above my head, when by his light I walked through darkness, as I was in the days of my prime, when God's intimate friendship was upon my tent, when Shaddai was still with me, and my children surrounded me, when my steps were bathed with butter, and the rock poured out for me streams of oil. When I went out to the city gate and secured my seat in the public square, young men would see me and hide, old men would rise and stand. Princes refrained from talking and put their hand over their mouths. The voice of the nobles was hushed, and their tongue stuck to their palate. When the ear heard, it called me blessed, and when the eye saw me, it commended me. For I saved the poor who cried for help, and the orphan who had no one to help him. The blessing of the dying man came on me, and I made the widow's heart sing for joy. I put on righteousness as my clothing, justice was as my robe and turban. I was eyes over the blind and feet for the lame. I was a father to the needy, and I investigated the case of one I did not know. I broke the jaws of the unjust and snatched the prey out of his teeth. Then I thought, I will die in my nest and multiply my days like the sand. My roots reach in the water, and dew lies on my branches all night. My glory is fresh within me, and my bow is renewed in my hand. People listened to me and waited and kept silent for my advice. After I had spoken, they spoke no more. My words fell on them, and drop by drop. They waited for me as for the rain, and opened their mouths as for spring rain. When I joked with them, they hardly believed it. They did not cause the light of my face to fall. I chose their way and sat as their chief. I lived as a king among the troops. I was like one who comforts mourners. Chapter 30. But now they mock me, those younger than I, those whose fathers I would have disdained to put with my sheepdogs. Moreover, what use was the strength of their hands to me, since their vigor has gone from them? Haggard from want and hunger, they gnawed the parched land, in former time desolate and waste. In the brush they plucked salt herbs, and their food was from the root of the broom tree. They were banished from society, shouted as if they were thieves. So they were forced to dwell in wadis, in holes of the earth and among the rocks. They brayed among the bushes and huddled under the nettles, a senseless and nameless brood. They were cast out from the land. So now I have become their taunt song. I have become a byword to them. They despise me. They keep their distance from me. They do not hesitate to spit in my face, because he has loosened my cord and afflicted me. They have cast off restraint in my presence. On my right the rabble rise up. They entangle my feet and build up their destructive paths against me. They break up my path. They succeed in destroying me without anyone helping them. As though a wide breach they come. Amid the ruins they come rolling in. Terrors are turned on me. They chase away my honor like the wind, and like a cloud my deliverance vanishes. And now my soul is poured out within me. Days of suffering have taken hold of me. Night pierces my bones within me. My gnawing pains never rest. By great power he seizes my garment. He binds me like the collar of my tunic. He has cast me into the mud, and I have become like dust and ashes. I cry out to you, but you do not answer me. I stand up, but you only look at me. You have turned on me cruelly. You attack me with the might of your hand. You lift me up on the wind and make me ride on it. You toss me about in the storm. For I know that you will bring me to death, to the house appointed for all the living. Yet does not one in a heap of ruins stretch out his hand, and in his distress cry for help? Have I not wept for the unfortunate? Was not my soul grieved for the poor? Yet when I hoped for good, evil came. When I waited for light, then darkness came. My heart seethes and never stops. Days of suffering confront me. I walk about blackened, but not by the sun. I stand in the assembly and cry for help. I have become a brother to jackals and a companion to ostriches. My skin has turned black on me. My bones burn with heat. My harp is for mourning, and my flute for the sound of weeping. Chapter 31. I made a covenant with my eyes not to pay attention to aversion, for what is one's lot from God above, one's heritage from Shaddai on high. It is not calamity for the unjust and disaster for the workers of iniquity. Does he not see my ways and count all my steps? If I have walked in falsehood, or my foot has hurried to deceit, then let him weigh me with honest scales, then God will know my integrity. If my step has strayed from the way, and my heart has walked after my eyes, or if any defilement has stuck to my hands, then let me sow and another eat, and let my crops be uprooted. If my heart has been enticed by a woman, or I lurked at my neighbor's door, then I let my wife grind for another, and let others sleep with her. For what would be a shameful act and iniquity to be judged? For it is a fire that devours to destruction and uproots all my harvest. If I have denied justice to my male or female servant, then when they disputed with me, then what could I do when God rises up, when he visits? How will I answer him? Did not he who made me in the womb make him? Did not the same one form us in the womb? If I withheld the desires of the poor, or let the eyes of the widow to fail, if I ate my morsel of bread myself without letting an orphan eat of it, but from my youth I reared him as a father, and from my mother's womb I guided her. If I have seen anyone perishing for lack of clothing, or the needy without a covering, if his heart did not bless me, and as he warmed himself with the fleece of my sheep, if I have raised my hand against the orphan, when I saw my support in the gate, then let my shoulder blade fall from my shoulder, and let my arm be broken off at the joint. For calamity from God was a terror to me, and because of his majesty I could do nothing. If I have put my confidence in gold, or said to find gold, you are my security. If I rejoice because of my great wealth, or because of the abundance my hand acquired, if I looked at the sun when it shined, or the moon moving in splendor, so that my heart was secretly enticed, and my hand threw a kiss from my youth, then this also would be iniquity to be judged, for I would have denied God above. If I rejoiced at my enemy's misfortune, or gloated because of calamity found him, I have not followed my mouth to sin by asking for his life with a curse. If anyone in my household has ever said, who has not been filled with his meat, but no stranger had to spend the night outside, for my door was open to the traveler. If I have covered my transgressions like Adam, by hiding my guilt in my bosom, because I feared a great multitude, and the contempt of clans terrified me, so that I kept silent and would not go outside. Oh, that I had someone to hear me. Look, here's my signature. Let Shaddai answer me. Let the accuser write the indictment. Surely I would carry it on my shoulder. I would bind it on me as a crown. I would give him an account of my steps. Like a prince, I would approach him. If my land cries out against me and its furrows reap together, if I have eaten its fruit without money or caused the death of its owners, then let briars come up instead of wheat, and stinkweed instead of barley. The words of Job are ended. Chapter 32. So these three men stopped answering Job because he was righteous in his own eyes. Then Elihu, son of Rachel, the Buzite of the clan of Ram, became very angry. He was angry with Job for justifying himself rather than God. He was also angry with his three friends because they had not found an answer and yet had condemned Job. Now Elihu had waited to speak to Job because they were older. When Elihu saw that there was no answer in the mouths of these three men, his anger was aroused. Then Elihu, son of Rachel, the Buzite, responded and said, I am young in days, and you are old. That is why I was timid and dared not to tell what I know. I thought, let days speak and many years teach wisdom. But there is a spirit in people, the breath of Shaddai, that gives them understanding. It is not only the aged who are wise, or old men who understand justice. Therefore I say, listen to me. Even I, will explain what I know. Look, I waited for your words. I listened to your reasoning. While you were searching for words, I gave you my full attention. But behold, no one proved Job wrong. None among you answered his statements, lest you should say, we have found wisdom, let God refute him, not man. Job has not directed his words to me, and I will not respond to him with your arguments. They are dismayed and no longer reply. Words have failed them. Must I wait since they no longer speak, since they have stand there with no reply? I too will answer my part. I too will declare what I know, for I am full of words, and the spirit within me compels me. Inside I am like wine that has no opening, like new wineskin ready to burst. I must speak that I may find relief. I will open my lips that I may answer. I will show partiality to no one, nor will I flatter anyone. For I do not know how to flatter, else my Maker would quickly carry me away. Chapter 33. But now, Job, listen to my words and give ear to everything I say. See now, I open my mouth, my tongue and my mouth speaks. My words are from my upright heart. My lips speak sincerely what they know. The Ruach of God has made me. The breath of Shaddai gives me life. Answer me if you can. Array yourselves before me. Take your stand. Look, I am the same as you before God. I too am formed from clay. See, no fear of me should terrify you, nor should my pressure be heavy on you. Indeed, you have said in my hearing, I heard the sound of the words. I am pure without transgression. I am innocent without iniquity. Yet he has found fault with me. He considers me with his enemy. He puts my feet in the shackles. He watches closely on all my paths. But in this you are not right, I answer you, for God is greater than a mortal. Why do you contend against him, that he does not answer all his words? Indeed, God speaks once, even twice, yet no one perceives it. In a dream, in the vision of the night, when deep sleep falls on men as they slumber in bed, then he opens the ears of men and seals their instruction, in order to turn a man from his conduct and to cover a person's pride. He spares his soul from the pit and his life from perishing by the sword. For a person is chastened with pain on his bed, with continual strife in his bones, so that his life loathes bread, and his soul desirable food. His flesh wastes away from sight, and his bones once unseen now stick out. His soul draws near to the pit, and his life to the messengers of death. If there is an angel beside him, a messenger, 1 out of 1,000, to declare a man his uprightness, then he is gracious to him, and says, deliver him from going down to the pit. I have found a ransom. Let his flesh be restored like a child's. Let him return to the days of his youth. He entreats God and is accepted by him. He sees his face with the shouts of joy. He restores to the man his righteousness. He sings to others, saying, I have sinned and perverted what is right, but I did not get what I deserved. He redeemed my soul from going down to the pit, and my life sees the light. Indeed, God does all these things twice, even 3 times with a man, to bring his soul back from the pit, that he may be illuminated with the light of life. Pay attention, Job. Listen to me. Be silent, and I will speak. If you have anything to say, answer me. Speak, for I want to justify you. If not, then listen to me. Be silent, and I will teach you wisdom. Chapter 34. Then Elihu answered, Hear my words, you wise men, give ear to me. The men of learning, for the ear tested words as the mouth tastes food. Let us choose for ourselves what is right. Let us learn together what is good. For Job says, I am righteous, but God has deprived me of justice. Concerning my right, should I lie? My wound is incurable, although I am without transgression. What man is like Job, who drinks mockery like water, who keeps company with evildoers and walks with wicked men? For he says, it does not profit a man when he makes his delight with God. Therefore, listen to me, you men of understanding. Wickedness is far from God, and justice from Shaddai, for he repays a person for what he has done, and brings on the person what he deserves. Truly, God does not act wickedly, and Shaddai does not pervert justice, who appointed him over the earth, who put him over the whole earth. If he were to set his heart on it, and gather to himself his wrath and breath, all flesh would perish together, and mankind would turn to dust. Now, if you have understanding, hear this. Give ear to the sound of my words. Can someone who hates justice govern? Will you condemn the mighty righteous one? Who says to a king, worthless man, and to noble, wicked men? Who shows no partiality before princes, and does not favor the rich over the poor, for they are all the work of his hands. They die in a moment. At midnight, people are shaken, and they pass away. The mighty are removed without a hand. For his eyes are on the ways of man. He sees all his steps. There is no gloom and no deep darkness where evildoers can hide themselves. For he does not consider a man further that he should go before God in judgment. He shatters the mighty without inquiry, and sets others in their place. Thus he recognizes their deeds. He overturns them in the night, and they are crushed. He strikes them for their wickedness in a place where people can see, because they turned from following him and have not understood any of his ways. They caused the cry of the poor to come before him, so that he hears the cry of the afflicted. But if he is quiet, who can condemn him? If he hides his face, who can see him? Yet he is over a nation and an individual alike, so that godless man would not rule nor lay snares for people. Suppose someone says to God, I have borne chastisement, but I will not act wickedly any more. Teach me what I cannot see. If I have done evil, I will not do it again. Should he requite it on your terms, because you reject it? But you must choose, and not I. Now declare what you know. Men of understanding declare. Wise men who hear me say to me, Job speaks without knowledge, and his words lack not understanding. Oh, that Job might be tested to the end, for answering like wicked men, for he adds rebellion to his sin. In our midst he clasps his hands and multiplies his words against God.